that are interested in true democracy, that are interested in enabling sustainable societies to continue to power and enable platforms like Radio Gold.
And thank you very much for that.
Yes,
because
yes,
that's quite important. I know
yes.
you do a lot of work in the media space yourself.
Yes.
But we unfortunately would have had a lot more discussion on that.
Yes.
But we have to focus because of the time. Let's focus on, because I see on your shirt that you are wearing two things: Baba Sadiq on one side, and then New Hope for Okaikoi Central.
Yes.
That is where were you raised and born there?
I was actually born in Okaikoi Central. I was born in Fadama.
Okay.
That's where I was raised. That's where everything is. And then I also attended school in Abeka, Harrow.
Okay.
Harrow is a very popular school in Abeka. And that's where I started my schooling. I mean, from preschool, nursery school. I still can remember the names of my teachers and all my teachers in Harrow.
Okay.
So I spent all my formative years in Harrow, from nursery right up to KG. At the time, KG, what is KG2 today was known as preparatory.
Okay.
You know, so I had the preparatory, Miss Anda, Miss Amu, Miss Kodia, went all the way through class 1 up to JSS3. So, you know, I spent how many years? I spent 3 years at the nursery level, did 6 years of basic school, that's 9 years, and also did another 3 years of JHS or GSS
Okay.
at that time.
Okay.
You know, so that's 12 years in Harrow. You know, and so, and then obviously from there, went to Ghana National, but I've always been a Okaikoi Central boy at heart. You know, I've always voted in Okaikoi Central since I came of age, you know, and it's where all my social impact activities are based.
Okay.
You know, talk about my annual Salah events I do, my annual health events I do, the Ramadan cabs, the Maulid cabs, and a number of activities that I'm involved in as a young person. It's always the more events that I did from last year, and which came with all the health elements and the social elements to it. You know, I've always sought to give back to the community, and so I'm a true proper Okaikoi Central boy.
And I've always, because you've made quite a name for yourself in the entertainment industry, in the media industry, you seem to be doing so well in that area. So I was wondering why it seems you can hold out your own without necessarily jumping into politics.
Right?
Why politics?
Well, I think for me it was an evolution. It was work in progress. You know, I've spoken about how I've always sought to give back, and most of my social impact activities is based in the constituency. And so that, after so many years of doing that, it kind of positioned me as a young youth leader youth opinion leader of sorts.
Okay.
You know, and so particularly when the members of the constituency and members of the party who know me to be a true party person, and also coming from the constituency, experience me on the political trail in 2020 as a spokesperson for the party in charge of tourism, arts and culture, and seeing the debates that happened between myself and Marco Kumante, and the workings with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and also about the party, key party or strategically placed individuals in the party. It kind of was a call, more or less, because a number of people also knew that Okaikoi Central NDC needed somebody with my kind of outlook, needed somebody with my kind of charisma, needed somebody with my kind of competence, and somebody that has visibility and publicity built around him because of his competence associated to the work that he's done, to be able to come in and stand on the ticket. Because in the ways that he was going, somebody with all these qualities was more inclined to winning the seats for the NDC. You know, and so when the call came, it was something that I also thought was it was a good call. We discussed that with a number of the elders in the constituency. You know, I was at Harunata, Honorable Andrew Kwaikwe, Alaji Sule, Mr. Kwe, Teacher Oto, his Nioto. I mean, teacher, we were mostly calling Teacher Oto Mr. Alute, Mariado, Ahoa, a number of the elders in the constituency, including the chief of Adama, the chief of Gozabarman Greater Accra region, that became Manche. So there was a wide, the national chief imam, who is a spiritual father and grandfather to me. You know, so that conversation was had extensively, including almost all my big brothers in the constituency. Alaji Sena, we usually call Chen Chen, Barufai. There's a whole number of them that we had conversations with. And so whilst the conversations crystallized, it compelled me to make the decision because the call was stronger. and that explained why I had to resign from my management position. And then also, even though I had an initial interest to lead in Accra as a folk, at a point I had to.
You had an interest in?
Yeah. Last year, I mean,
going to sports manager.
Yeah.
Have you been in there for?
Yeah, because
done some work there.
There's a linkage between on sports management to entertainment. It's all entertainment anyway, and in terms of the principles that underpins it, is almost the same thing. You know, essentially, it's entertainment, leveraging the entertainment and building the business on the back of it, which is what we're used to what we do. And so my mindset was to bring all of these qualities, all of this brand management, commercial management, all of these things that have helped us thrive and make some good money in entertainment, bringing it to sports, you know. And most importantly for me, also saying that football in Ghana, for instance, was not the favorite sport of millennials and Gen Zs. The idea was, how do we extend the relevance and power of Ghana's biggest club, Accra Suffolk, you know, which is my club, which is a club that I support.
That's why I realized you described it as the biggest club.
Yeah, that's Ghana's,
with a lot of
Ghana's most successful club, football club. You know, I know my Kotoko people would disagree, but Accra Suffolk comes second to none. There's no club that has had the kind of impact that Accra Suffolk has had. And so for me, how the thinking was, how do we leverage all these the history, the legacy of Accra Suffolk, and bring all of that to bear in terms of ensuring that Gen Zs and millennials continue the love and take it off from there. And how do we ensure that we're able to build all of that to attract the attention of young people, so that they can fill up the stadiums, they can buy our merchandise, they can ensure that we can bring all of that to ensure that all the commercial partnerships that we can have is top notch, bring all the innovation that I'm known for to ensuring that Accra Suffolk continues to be the biggest and the most relevant and commercially successful club from Ghana.
Clearly,
that was the idea.
You thought this through, and from speaking about it, you had thought this through. You seem to perhaps even have a plan as to how to do this. Then all of a sudden you had to put it aside and then jump onto a political train. That is
no. It was a. I really did. I'd wanted to do that Accra Suffolk thing, but again, like I said, the call became greater, and for me, what actually even made it, after I'd done my research and commissioning, I realized that if there was one party that was more inclined to win the Okaikoi Central City, it was the NDC. And so that kind of compelled me. And for me, after coming to the realization from the research that we had commissioned, 2 different researches that had brought up all these insights and data, and sitting down looking at it and thinking, so how come we've lost the seat all this while?
So your research
that was a
showed
challenge.
that NDC should actually be holding that seat.
Yes, NDC, the party that's more likely to win in the Okaikoi Central City is the NDC.
But you don't have, but that party does not have the seats.
Yes, exactly. So that's what I'm saying, that we needed to bear this sort of strategic thinking that I've had, you know, and I keep saying to everybody that that thinking or the mindset to say, listen, let's look into the dynamics proper. Let's look at the things that has been impacting us. Let's conduct in a research so that can inform a more strategic approach to winning the seat. This assets my preparedness to take the seat. Look, there are 4 voting. I keep saying it. There are 4 voting blocks in the constituency. There's a Muslim Northern Zongo block. There's a Voter Ewe block. There's a Gandame block, and there's a Khan block. The NDC gets majorly their vote from 3 of the blocks. Majorly, that's where we get the 3 of the blocks. That's where we get our vote. Of course, we do get votes from the Akan block, but in the last 3 election cycles, we've not gotten vote from the Akan block that accrued to more than 5%. However, when you look into the voters register and you do an analysis of it, the 3 blocks where we get majority of our votes from, the Muslim Northern Zongo block, the Gandami block, the Voter Ewe block, when you put it together, they are 54% in the voters register.
54%?
Yeah.
So with them alone,
the Akan block is 46%. With them alone, if we're able to protect it, it means that we would have been able to win the seat with about 54. However, of course, it's not realistic to think that you're going to
get all the votes there.
But it's safe to say that since we're getting most of our vote from 3 of these blocks, going into the election, that's our base to start with, right? So it tells you that if the MPP gets majorly most of their vote from the Akan block, going into the election, that's their base, right? So it means that we go into the election with a base of 54%. They go into the election with a base of 46%, but interestingly, they win the elections because of a number of things. So, like I said, it's not realistic that when we go into the election, we're going to keep all the 54%. Let's even assume that through their campaign and their effort, they're able to claw back, or they're able to take a certain percentage from your base. Let's say you lose about 10%. Let's even say you lose about 12%. You'll be left with about 42%, right? Now, if you have a candidate who resonates with the 4 voting blocks, if you have a candidate that has the kind of publicity Baba Sadiq has, if you have a candidate that is visible in the ways Baba Sadiq is, if you have a candidate whose competence is expressed in his professional reputation and the things he's done in the media industry, and which is known by the people, enough to be able to attract at least 10% of that back from the account block, which we've not been successful at gaining at least 5% off, you would have won the election by at least 52%. Even if you get 51%, of course, simple majority, you would have won the seat. So it's this sort of thinking mindset that we bring to bear. And their opponents know, and that's why they are taking a huge interest in our elections. I know what they will do. Of course, the MPs guys and their people are running around, they're trying to influence and say to the people that, oh, don't vote for this guy. They are trying to spin everything else. And I keep telling my people that if anybody from the other side, it's one, two, or the other. If some of them, there are some of them that disagree, that think that there has to be that competition. There has to be that super contest that they've never had in the constituency. That popularity of the MP needed to be tested, because they feel even within their party as MPP people in the constituency, they've been taken for granted because he's never had like any major contest. And so they are seeing a certain level of shift in the ways he's approaching, in the ways he's doing his meetings. And they think that it is because Baba Sadiq is coming. Because they know what Baba Sadiq comes to the table with. They know how Baba Sadiq competes. They know the mindset. They know how all out we go, and they know the strategic approach we'll bring to bear on this, breaking it down, understanding the various voter blocks, understanding the dynamics and the things that attract their attention, understanding the issues, and being able to, creating innovative solutions to, turning around the problems of the constituency. And then obviously there's a whole youthful element. Over 70% of the voter population in the constituency are young people. And these are young people, yes. These are young people that resonate with me. These are young people that have seen and experienced the things I've been able to do on a top level. And as somebody coming from amongst them, as somebody that was born from where they come from, as somebody that was raised from amongst them, coming from all of that background and being able to rise higher and do the things that we've been able to do in the media industry, they are more inspired and more than likely to associate to the positive excellence that we bring.
In order to contest with the MP, you need to beat 3 people.
Right.
In primaries that will come on May 13, the clock is running.
Right.
How is that going for you?
Well, it's going on well. Fortunately for me, yesterday I wrapped up my branch engagement, but that's not the end of my delegate engagement. There are 137 branches. I've been to almost all the 137 branches. I've been spending time explaining my message. I've been spending time trying to let them understand that, look, there shouldn't be an apathy at this particular time, and I needed them to understand and be confident in the fact that the NDC in the Okaikoi Central is more likely to win the seat than it's been in the last few years. And most importantly, I had to share with them the insights. I had to share with them the data and the numbers, and I had to let them understand that the constituency from 1996 till now have voted in a certain direction, in a certain way. They voted for candidates without us actually realizing. Candidates, of course, candidates powered by the party, but they look for them to vote for a candidate that has been brought to them by a party to become a member of parliament. They're looking at the personalities, key attributes that you needed to have. So of course, I'm running on the ticket of the NDC, but from 96 till now, we know that the constituency will look to the professional reputation of the candidate that you're bringing. Also because it affords them the opportunity to be able to measure the competence level of the candidate that you're coming with. The constituency would also look at the charismatic abilities of the candidates, how he looks, how he talks, how he engages, and his understanding of the issues and ability to express himself. All these admirable traits that a candidate will have. And then obviously from 2012 till now, we've seen that the youthfulness of the candidates, the ability of the candidate to turn around the situations in the constituency, and the connection or the access the candidate have with strategically placed individuals of the country and in the party is also but very important. And it's all the qualities Baba Sadiq has. And that's the things that I've been explaining to them, that in 2024, of course, it looks likely that the NDC is coming to power, but of course it isn't going to be easy. But most importantly, once we get the right candidates in and we can build on that, we would have done about 70% of the job already. So I've made a case and point to them that, look, we know that for the NDC to come into power, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is the person that must lead us. We know that. Why are we all basing on it? Because he's shown the competence, he's got the track record, he's got the experience, he's got everything that makes him the most viable and the most the person to deliver victory for us, and the person majority of Ghanaians are yearning for because they've seen him being at it. It's the same as Baba Sadiq. A lot of young people have seen the innovation and the impact we brought to an industry as a media and entertainment industry. They've seen us work. At least they know the professional reputation which associates to positive excellence. They've seen that this is somebody that has got the relevant corporate and life experience, having worked in a particular industry for more than 15 years, even at a young age. They're seeing how at a young age, Baba Sadiq has done all the bigger things that we've been able to do. Look at Wilderland Festival, the most impactful economic system that we've created. It's not just an entertainment, it's a whole value chain that we've created. You know, look at what we've done with 3 music awards and the impacts we've brought to the industry. Look at what we're nearly bringing to Accra as a folk, for instance, if we had continued with the interest that I had in leading Accra as a folk. You know, so these are things that, just like His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, everybody could make the linkage, and of course the access to him, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, to all these individuals that I speak about, and how tomorrow, once we're in power, the person more than likely to direct a benefit directly. Because one of the major problems the constituency has experienced as a party, NDC, is that our inability to have people that directly links to the top has been our bane, to such an extent that even when we are in power, it's always difficult to have direct conversations for the things that will bring the much needed relief to the people. But here you have Baba Sadiq, and so that effect must count, and that's the message we've been sending strongly. And
it's a message that they are content with.
Yes, I mean this is the message that they are content with. Most importantly, we've also made them aware how when you win for Baba Sadiq, right after the primaries, there are a number of activities that are intended to bring a certain benefit to them as party people. Beyond that Baba Sadiq's ability to win, beyond Baba Sadiq's quality as a winnable and competent partner, candidate, but most importantly, even for them, we've indicated to them right after primary some of the initiatives that we intend to start that will continue to strengthen and energize the base or the branches, that will continue to drive benefits for the traders that are amongst us, that will continue to highlight the much needed things that we want to do for education. You know, for instance, I've indicated to the party people in the constituency how I intend to start something I call the BBV, which is a branch business venture, for instance, right after primaries. So after the primaries, once I win, there's these 2 or 3 major Thanksgiving services that we intend to do. Apart from the Muslim Thanksgiving, I intend to do this major Christian interdenominational Thanksgiving services with key and relevant people that will continue to drive spotlight and attract goodwill for the party in the constituency in the ways that we've done. Right beyond that, we start engaging the individual branches again, where we're telling them to tell us a particular small-scale business idea that will see funding from us. Okay. You know, where we think that initiatives, once it kickstarts, will not only strengthen and bring the branches together, but it would also be an idea where the branches themselves, once it's managed properly, can be self-sustaining, and some of their welfare needs, some of their needs as a branch, they'll be able to take it from the initial revenues that they make. You know, we've gone on to explain to them how we intend to ensure that traders from within the constituency will begin to get, the party will begin to get a certain guarantees to accessing loans, business grants, and business support. Now, this we think provides us a very good example or reference point to sell to the constituency, the general voters, because it's one of the things I've always wanted to do is this big project, big agenda I have relative to sustainable livelihood. But most importantly, it's something I would want to execute through a job center. I saw how under one term, the MP for Medina, for instance, has created a job center, and I thought it was commendable. Looking at it and seeing that I've had an MP for 11 years, that I've never thought that a job center was needed, when in actual fact, unemployment is a big issue among the over 70% young population in the constituency. You know, Well, so thinking about it and seeing and making that promise to creating the job center and using that to do
and
a
all
number
that
of
before
initiatives.
the election 2024.
No, so the job center will come obviously when one becomes an MP. But prior to that, there are a number of things that would start right after the primaries that would amplify that promise that we've made to the constituency related to it.
Let me conclude. I have to conclude with you. I'm way past my time, but just on the suggestion has always been that great ideas don't win primaries. Deep pockets do.
Right.
Is your pocket deep?
well, it is. I mean, obviously, for somebody that has been able to come this far, I've been campaigning and I've been positioning myself for a long time in the constituency, and so definitely, I mean, having gone through all of that and met gone through almost all the hurdles that required money. I mean, you go into the constituency, my visibility and all the posters doesn't come cheap. All the outdoor campaigns that we've done. I think I have when you want to quantify it in the share of voice in terms of branding, I've got the major one. All of that required money. Beyond that, we go to all the branch meetings is what we do. Ahead of the primaries as well, we know we are prepared and more than ready to deliver the insurance package, ensuring our votes. Ensuring our votes for the people that actually will love us. I mean, but we are more than ready and prepared, and I've always made that point. Baba Sadiq has always walked the talk. Everything I've said I would do that required money, I have done, and I continue to do. Obviously, it tells everybody that I'm more than ready psychologically, I'm more than ready financially, I'm more than ready physically to ensure that, come what may, the NDC would win the Okaikoi central seat by at least 54% in 2024. But it starts on 13th of May, and that's a message that I've made to everybody, that any delegate that is listening to us as in the constituency, just know that on the 13th of May, there's one candidate that resonates with the 4 voting blocks in the constituency. There's one candidate that can actually attract even the 10% we're looking for from that block. There's one candidate whose access to strategically placing the visuals of the party will drive more benefits to us as party members in the constituency. There's one candidate who resonates with the youth. There's one candidate who, just like His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, also sits on number 1. And the call has always been that let's ensure that, just like it's almost divine, when you're voting for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama number 1 on 13th of May, when you are done, just know that you have to vote for his son, Baba Sadiq, number 1 as well.
Baba, I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
I wish you all the best. It'll be interesting to see you on the ballot in 2024. We'll see what happens on May 13th.
Thank you very much.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
That's Baba Sadiq. He is the NDC Okaikoi Central Parliamentary candidate aspirant joining us in the studio this morning. Wonderful to see Baba as always. Before we go, Ochami is coming up next with the mid-morning show. But before we go, let me remind you that if you have difficulties with your vision, your ability to see, you don't see clearly, you can't see from a certain distance, place to go is Third Eye Care and Vision Center. They are your one-stop solution. They have ultramodern equipment, well-trained optometrists and staff. With them, you can be assured of the best. They provide comprehensive eye care for people of all ages. They have in stock all kinds of spectacle lenses, spectacle frames, sunglasses, contact lenses, eye drops, among others. If you also need to do an eye examination that is instructed by the DVLA, they are a DVLA accredited eye examination center. Go to them. They have 2 branches. Northreach, they are on the premises of Sunny FM. Airport residential area, they are opposite the Mirage Residence, close to Association International School. Today is a Friday, they are already opened. You can go to any of their branch, they'll take care of you. Tomorrow will be a Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Both branches are open. Sunday 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. the airport branch is open. Give them a call, 0245 938389 and 0543 287008. And of course, FVV Rice. If you come to Radio Gold, we'll give you FVV Rice. But for more information, call 0541 187932 or 0247